let's get to a rumor killer, shall we? Because there's been a lot of rumors, Rick, that I don't know where this is coming from, but apparently that TKO wants to purchase Lucha Underground. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this, but apparently Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp confirmed earlier today on Twitter that a report claiming to be from him about TKO Group purchasing Lucha Underground and having plans to revive the former promotion are not true now, apparently, Rick. This rumor originated from a bogus Twitter account, bullshit, that has been impersonating Wrestle Votes called Wessel Votes. And when I say Wessel, I'm talking about WESTLE, who claimed that TKO had brought the rights to Lucha Underground and have had an early talks to revive it under WWE's umbrella. In response to a fan question on Twitter, Sapp stated that the report is completely fake and he was going to start reporting social media accounts that spread bogus news attributed to him and, of course, Fightful. Rick, do you smell a rat over here or is this legit? Do you think there's been a lot of fakers out there, putting out fake news?
Well, it does seem that Mr. Sapp there and the Fightful site, they have been called to task here quite a bit in the last couple of days with some questionable reporting. In Sapp last week, in response to somebody laid out his complete list of how he double checks everything and confirms with his sources and all of that. I did happen to see the headline itself. I didn't pay much attention to it. I know that Lucha Underground had a great, very niche following. One of not a huge audience, but it was a very unique show. And as we regularly, we've been talking here since I've been joining you on the Smack Attack the last couple of weeks. Ben and I regularly talk about it in the Monday locker room. Ben's laid out just tremendous strategies that could be implemented, employed inside of professional wrestling to modernize, upgrade, improve the presentation of the product. And that was something that was so unique about Underground, because it was completely different than everything else that we had seen. And, maybe going back when it was airing, maybe ahead of the curve that we weren't really ready for.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was something special. But inside of that, one of the reasons that it was canceled, correct me if I'm wrong here, was the intense financial responsibilities that went into producing the show.
Well, they treated it more like a television show. And when I say that, it was more like a movie per se. You know what I mean? They literally needed directors, and all sorts of shit just to get shit done right. But that was the cool thing about Lucha Underground. The cool thing about that, they didn't sugarcoat who and what they were. And because they told you straight, this is what we are, this is what we're doing. Hopefully you like it. And that's why I dug it, because they were straight out with everybody. And it was very good television, man, at the time. It's a shame that it doesn't exist now, even though MLW have tried to so-called revive it, which is nowhere near any sort of revival that Lucha Underground was, man. It's just a fake version.
I didn't see a whole lot of the MLW, Major League Wrestling, their version of it there, but it does seem like it was one of those things where you can't really blur the lines between a regular wrestling presentation and what Lucha Underground, what it stood for. And in my mind, and I'm not of that caliber, not that level to be the one, to have that background in the theater, in film, to merge those worlds. So, it's going to take someone like a Hameen that has that tremendous background. But, I envision something where pro wrestling should look something like love it or hate it. There's some quality to take from it, like the Heels program.
I don't mind Heels, but I got sick of it a bit quick. But still, I know what you're saying.
Now, back to the original point, putting over the style of Lucha Underground. WWE buying it. If it was true, TKO purchasing the rights to it would be absolutely incredible. It's a great piece of wrestling history and programming to hold on to be able to financially capitalize on whatever avenue you decide to go with it down the road. To recreate it, that might be a bit suspect. You'd have to completely go outside of the bubble of what we currently see with WWE. So maybe TKO inside of that purchases and hands it over to a movie studio. Maybe this isn't something that falls under the umbrella of WWE. If it would happen to be true, it would be interesting. But again, with WWE's current drive to, I don't want to see just like capitalize, but control all of professional wrestling. I mean, you look what we got going on here, the partnership with TNA. We don't know really where that's going to go down the road. They've got Evolve, all the libraries that they've already purchased from the territories. They own all of those. They own pretty much the history of professional wrestling. We have
absolutely do.
We have the ID program now.
With belts
that they're pretty much going to if it goes the direction that we think it's going to go, they're going to gobble up all the top talents on the independent scene, which is going to cut off lifelines of people going like to the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance.
Absolutely will. That's going to be a big problem.
MLW, going to All Elite Wrestling, all of that. So it could just be one of those tactics.